Hi everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS. In this class, we will discuss something about the arrival of Mahatma Gandhi in India. So, Gandhiji in India we will discuss, and then we'll see how the Rowlatt Act was there and what kind of movements came after the arrival of Gandhiji. Here we will discuss the Khilafat agitation and also the non-cooperation movement. So if I'm live, if I'm audible and visible to you clearly, please send me a hi in the comment section and let me know if you have any doubts from the last class. Here I just want to inform you that if you see the live classes daily, yesterday we had some technical issue, and due to that glitch we just uploaded a recorded version of last lecture. So the last lecture is in the recorded section, so you just need to follow the playlist and you'll get all the videos in the sequence. Simply go to the playlist of Sunya IAS YouTube channel, and on the channel you will get the spectrum series, and in the playlist only entire lecture series the sequence is there. So the last lecture where technical glitch came, that is again re-recorded and uploaded in the same playlist. So please check it out and let me know in case you have missed anything. Let me just check if it is working fine or not. Okay, are you guys ready? So can we start? Fine. Just give me a moment. Yes, hi Neha. Hi Manorma. Good evening guys. Good evening everyone. Fine. Please like and share the session. You need to like the video and you need to interact with me in the comment box. Okay. Now let's come to the lecture. So Gandhi in India. Here we need to see that what happened when Gandhi came to India. As discussed in the last lecture, Gandhiji already became an international leader. He was very popular. Before his arrival to India, he was considered as a great leader, and Indian leaders started following his idea of Satyagraha, Ahimsa, and those tendencies, right? So now, when Gandhiji came to India, Gandhi returned to India in January 1915, and for 1 year he decided not to participate in any kind of movement or in any political activity. But due to his efforts in South Africa, he was well known, and he was, followed by educated people also, and general masses also. Everyone used to follow him. He decided to tour the country, and the next 1 year he only wanted to see for himself the real condition of the masses, to check the ground reality of India. So he also decided not to take any position on any political matter for at least 1 year. Okay. If we talk about the Champaran Satyagraha, it was the first Satyagraha, first civil disobedience movement when Gandhiji participated in something which was related to the farmers of Champaran in Bihar. Okay, and here you will see that how Gandhiji will practice his law and the education which he got somehow in a very applicable way. Okay, so 1917 journey starts from the Champaran. Basically, he was requested by Rajkumar Shukla. Rajkumar Shukla was a local man of Champaran, and he invited Gandhiji to come and look into the problems of the farmers in the context of indigo planters of Champaran in Bihar. If you have read the NCRT's class 8th NCRT history, there's a chapter about this indigo revolt, and the topic of that chapter is, does color have a history? Something like this. Okay, does color has a history or can have a history? There they have discussed about the Bengal indigo planters, right? So basically, before coming to this area, many of these planters used to stay in the Bengali area, and their people revolted against the planters. Why? Because it was not fruitful for the farmers, and they were unwillingly cultivating the indigo. Indigo cultivation was not useful and beneficial for the farmers, neither for the land in which the indigo was grown. Okay, so the problem was here that indigo planters wanted to collect some illegal dues, and they got a kind of substitute of indigo as a German synthetic dye. So they knew that somehow the indigo plantation and the business will stop in the future. So before it stops, they wanted to extract the money, whatever they invested, and the profit, whatever what they could get by that time. Okay, that's why. So the European planters had been forcing the peasants to grow indigo on 3 by 20th part of their land. This is known as Teen Kathiya system. Okay, so if the total land area is considered here, if you divide it into 20 parts, 3 parts would be for the indigo only. So it was known as the Teen Kathiya system. The problem was, if you grow indigo in any part of the land, then that land becomes very you can say it would not be suited for the cultivation of any food crop, especially rice, and rice was mostly preferred by the farmers at that time. Indigo is a kind of a cash crop also. So you will see that Europeans always emphasized on the cash crops like tea, coffee, sugarcane, indigo, opium, so that they could have a balance of trade at their own international markets. Fine. Now, when Gandhiji was invited by Rajkumar Shukla, he went there, he understood the Teen Kathiya system, he interacted with the farmers. Now, when he was there, Europeans basically knew Gandhiji and his power and the way he behaves. So everyone knew about the leader. So at that time, British government, they thought to just order Gandhiji to leave the area. They ordered Gandhiji, but Gandhiji said no. That's why it is the first civil disobedience movement. Savinay avagya, agya ka palan na karna. Not following the rules or orders by the government. So that is civil disobedience. Disobey. He disobeyed the government, okay, by not leaving the area, even after getting the order to leave it. Government wanted Gandhiji to leave, but Gandhiji said no. I will participate in the protest. Then government, they decided to have a commission. They set up a commission in which Gandhi himself became a member, and they all decided to research on the matter and discuss things. How could they solve it? So there it was resolved and it was decided that planters should not force the farmers to cultivate indigo, and they should not take any illegal dues, and in case they have taken the money, they should give it back to the farmers if they are capable of. So this kind of resolution came due to Gandhiji, which is a very big victory of a leader in India, okay, against the Britishers in just a short span of time. Fine. So when towards the end of 19th century, German synthetic dyes replaced indigo, these German synthetic dyes were like substitute. They also gave us a blue color. So they replaced indigo, and the European planters demanded high rents and illegal dues from the peasants in order to maximize their profits before they could shift to any other crops, before the peasants could shift to the other crops. Besides, the peasants were forced to sell the produce at the prices fixed by the Europeans, and the price was very, very low. Okay, it was a very low price, so they were not getting anything for their hard work. So, when Gandhiji came here, he was joined by Rajendra Prasad, Mazharul Haq, and Mahadev Desai, Narhari Parekh, J.B. Kripalani. All these leaders, they reached Champaran to look at the matter, and the authorities ordered Gandhiji to leave the area, but Gandhiji disobeyed the order and he stayed there. He wanted to protest. Ultimately, the commission was there, and commission is what? Let's say you see someone protesting on the road, or if they do chakka jam, if they start doing any rally, or if they demand anything, government will just not follow by passing a new law, or government will not just understand the demand and will fulfill it in just single snap. No, it never happens like that. What government decides, whenever government sees that something is there and a demand is raised, then government, what they do, they decide to make a committee, okay, and the committee will have a research on the matter, and then committee will submit the report. That report would be submitted to the government, and then government will decide things according to the report. Okay, so every time it happens like this only. Same happened during the Indigo movement, or the Champaran Satyagraha. Now, next one is the Ahmedabad mill strike. Here, the government is not involved, but it is a clash between the mill owners and the mill workers. Okay, so laborers and owners, they were fighting. So it was the first hunger strike of Gandhiji, where he created pressure on the mill owners by hunger strike. Okay, so it is the time of March 1918. Okay, and in that particular period, Gandhi intervened in a dispute which was between the cotton mill owners of Ahmedabad and workers over the issue of discontinuation of plague bonus. What is this? Basically, plague, it was an infection. If you remember the COVID-19 situation, many of the doctors and nurses, they used to work very hard, and in the COVID-19 situation, we saw that doctors and many of the people in the medical line, they worked double the time, and sometimes they had to work extra, right? But when somebody is working extra and following the schedule more than it is there at as per their contract or as per their base pay, government or the institution gives them a bonus, that okay, in this situation if you are working, we'll provide you a bonus. So similarly, when plague was there, plague is a kind of infection. It is something which spreads due to unhygienic conditions, and mostly because of rats. Okay, rats, very very important. Okay, so basically plague was there at that time. Plague was getting spreaded everywhere. So because of the plague, a lot of work got disrupted. So mill workers got bonus if they could come to the factory and work, and it was known as the plague bonus. But it was discontinued by the owners later, that now no need to continue because the disease is now in control. And at that time when it got in control, the bonus was discontinued. But by the time it was discontinued, inflation also grew. So now the workers said that in the situation of inflation, we won't be able to survive without the bonus amount. If you don't want to give us bonus, then you should increase the salary. At least increase it for 50%. Okay, 50% higher salary should be there. So 50% demand was there by the workers. Workers started demanding a rise of 50% in their wages so that they could manage in the times of wartime inflation. Okay, wartime inflation, why? Because during this time only the First World War was going on, due to which it doubled the prices of food grains and clothes and other necessities. So Britishers, they involved in the World War One, and they dragged Indians also in the World War One. Indian resources, people, soldiers, everything. It was somehow getting a kind of inflated version everywhere. So here, mill owners said that no, we can only give you 20% of wage hike. Now the workers went on strike. Here you will see that two siblings are fighting. Okay, and that's something which is very important, that Gandhiji came here against his own friend. Okay, with the Anusuya Sarabhai. Let's understand the story. The relations between the workers and the mill owners, they worsened. Okay, with time, because workers started striking. But now when they were doing the strike, owners said okay, if you want to continue the strike, you can do that. We will bring the weavers from Bombay. So mill owners started blackmailing the laborers. Okay, so that's why the striking workers, they were the striking workers, they were arbitrarily dismissed, and the mill owners decided to get weavers from the Bombay. So they started blackmailing, and sometimes they hired other, weavers also. So workers of mill turned to Anusuya Sarabhai for the help. okay, for the help in fighting for justice. Basically, Anusuya Sarabhai, she was a social worker, and she was also the sister of Ambalal Sarabhai. Now, the situation is that Ambalal Sarabhai is, uh, he was at that time was the, president of Mill Owners Association. Okay, he was also one of the mill owners, and he was the president of Ahmedabad Mill Owners Association. So, Ahmedabad Mill Owners Association was founded in 1891 to develop the textile industry in Ahmedabad. So, here Anusuya Sarabhai with the workers fighting against the Ambalal Sarabhai. Okay, so she fought with the help of Gandhiji. She only took help from Gandhiji. However, Gandhiji was a very good friend of Ambalal Sarabhai, but Gandhiji here in this situation helped Anusuya, not Ambalal. Why? Because Gandhiji wanted to help the workers. Okay, that's why. Now, Anusuya Ben went to Gandhiji, and Gandhiji was a respected person by mill owners also and by workers also. So, Anusuya asked him to intervene in the matter and help resolve the impasse between the workers and employers. Here, Gandhiji started his hunger strike, and it was decided that it will not be the 50% as demanded by the workers. It won't be settled on the 20% as the owners are saying. So, they both came on a mid path, and 35% of hike was decided in the end, and it shows how Gandhiji got the victory again for the workers. Okay, now come to the next extremely important satyagraha, Kheda Satyagraha, 1918. It is the first non-cooperation. Non-cooperation is not cooperating with the government. Okay, if government is saying something, you are not agreeing to it, or not following the things in that way. So basically, Kheda was there in Gujarat, and because of drought in 1918, the crops failed in the Kheda district of Gujarat. But according to the revenue code, there was a rule, there was a revenue code. If the yield was less than one fourth of the normal produce, the farmers were entitled to remission. Means they won't be, they won't need to pay the taxes if the crop failure was there. Okay, it was already decided. So, of course, crop failure was there, so they should get remission, but they didn't get the remission. So the Gujarat Sabha, consisting of the peasants, submitted petition to the highest governing authorities of the provinces, requesting them to have a new revenue assessment for the year 1919. Okay, and they were saying that it should be suspended because farmers won't be able to pay any revenue in 1919. Now the government, however, remained adamant, and they said no. If the farmers are not going to pay the taxes, then the property of farmers would be seized, and if the taxes were not paid, then they won't be able to get their lands back. Many of the properties got seized also. Britishers, they were always very strict about their policies, and whenever they got any opportunity to seize a land, to get a resource, to hold something, they used to rush towards it. So they rushed, and they started seizing the land. So when lands got seized, uh, Gandhiji started protesting, and he said that okay, don't worry, all the farmers, you don't need to worry, just hold your tax, don't rush into the matter, and let government do whatever they can. Okay, so by understanding this non-cooperation, all the peasants, they didn't pay the tax, they stayed there with their own situation. And in so many village area also, people started protesting, farmers got help from their relatives and neighbors. Ultimately, government had to give them a remission, and the tax for the next year 1919 was cancelled. Okay, the that assessment happened. So this was again a great victory. Now come to the next one, Rowlatt Act. Basically, Rowlatt Act, Satyagraha and Jallianwala Bagh massacre is a very important topic. Here, just understand two names are very important: Saifuddin Kichlu and Satyapal. These two local leaders were arrested, and it was because of the Rowlatt Act. What is Rowlatt Act? Rowlatt Act empowered police officers, police, and the government to arrest anyone without any trial, or to punish a person on the charges of sedition or anything if any suspicious activity was there involved with the name of that person. Then government had this right to punish the person, or on the charges of sedition or anti-government charges they could imprison anyone, they could arrest anyone without any trial, without any warrant, nothing was needed. Okay, so it was against the fundamental rights. Okay, it is also something which is against the basic right of life, right to life was not there. So while at one hand, government dangled the carrot of constitutional reform. Carrot means the unsatisfactory Montagu-Chelmsford reform. On the other hand, they decided to arm itself with extraordinary powers to suppress any discordant voice against the reform, so that no nationalist voice, no patriotic feeling could rise in India, because Britishers were afraid of their, you know, Indian freedom fighters basically. So Satyagraha against Rowlatt Act started. It was the first mass strike by Gandhiji. So basically, Indians, they thought that they will get some kind of participation in the government in a real way. They got it with the Montagu-Chelmsford reform. The participation was increased, but the power was not increased. Indians still had no power, no rights. 75% of the budget was not votable by the legislatures, and even at the center the legislatures were not responsible at all, executives were also not responsible at all. So with that Montagu-Chelmsford reform, people were unhappy, and in the reform there was no deadline or date decided for the Swaraj or the self rule. So government was agreeing that yes, there is a demand of self rule in India, and we can discuss it and decide about it in future, but no date was given. Nothing was clear in front of the Indians that if they could get any Swaraj or not. So just when Indians expected a huge advance towards the self rule as a reward for their contribution to the war, as Indians participated in the First World War, Indians, instead of getting self rule, they were given the Montfort reform with very limited scale of power and a repressive Rowlatt Act. Shockingly, a very repressive Rowlatt Act. Okay, so yes, of course, after seeing this Rowlatt Act, Indians felt betrayed, right? More so, Gandhiji also faced this, because Gandhiji initially didn't join any of the Home Rule League, because he thought that if I'll support Britishers in the First World War, in return we will get self rule and Swaraj later, and Britishers will realize the friendship and power of Indians. So, Gandhiji had a kind of mindset to support Britishers in the First World War, because just to get some help by the Britishers at the international level, and also to get some help in the self rule. But Gandhiji, who had been at the forefront in offering cooperation in the British war effort, now felt betrayed. Okay, who had even offered to encourage recruitment of Indians into the British Indian forces. He used to encourage Indians at the time of war that you should join the British Indian forces. People should help Britishers. We all we should be acting like we are together. So he called the Rowlatt Act a black act and argued that not everyone should get punishment in response to isolated political crimes. In case political crimes were there, there needs to be a proper investigation when government wants to suppress or imprison or punish anyone. But when the protest was going on in the Punjab, there is Amritsar, and there in Amritsar, Golden Temple is there. The Jallianwala Bagh, or that garden, is very near to the Golden Temple. If you'll go there, you will be able to see that it's very near to the Golden Temple. So it was the day of Baisakhi. Okay, it was a festive day, and on the occasion of this festival Baisakhi, many people, local people and people from other villages also, they came to visit the Golden Temple, and they gathered in the Jallianwala Bagh, or the Jallianwala, uh, you know, garden. So many of the people who were peaceful and who had no intention to protest, they were just there to celebrate the festival and the occasion. So on the occasion of Baisakhi, they were just, spending their time in the Jallianwala Bagh. But many of the protesters also joined and got mixed with them in the Bagh. Basically, protesters who protested uh, against the arrest of their two local leaders, Satyapal and Saifuddin Kichlu, they just got mixed with the general crowd. So protester crowds and the general crowd got mixed in the Jallianwala Bagh. However, they never knew that General Dyer could come at that point and he will start firing without any notification or without any, firing, air firing. Basically, people, they were betrayed and they were extremely harshly got mistreated in this massacre. Okay, so Amritsar was worst affected by the violence. In the beginning, there was no violence by the protesters. Indians shut down their shops and the normal trade, and the empty streets shows the Indian displeasure at the British betrayal after getting the Rowlatt Act. Okay, so this date is very important, 13th April 1919. Remember this. Look at these two leaders, Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu. These two leaders were arrested. So on 9th April, these two leaders were arrested by the British officials without any provocation, except that they had addressed a protest meeting and they were taken to some unknown destination. Nobody knew that where these leaders were. So this caused a resentment among the Indian protesters, who came out in thousands on 10th April to show their solidarity with their leaders. They wanted to show their solidarity and they also wanted to protest that why, the leaders are arrested and we should get our leaders back. Soon the protests turned violent. Why? Because police resorted to firing, in which some of the protesters were killed. Tensions ran high, and in the riot that followed, five Englishmen, they are reported to have been killed in. Marcella Sherwood, an English woman missionary going on bicycle, was beaten up. Okay, so Marcella Sherwood was beaten up, and as you know, so many revolutionary leaders also used to work underground. So a riot was there. Five Englishmen were, beaten up, and they got killed. And there was a news of Marcella Sherwood also beaten up. So she was a women missionary. In these kind of news and situations, troops were sent immediately to quell the disturbance. So here also in Jallianwala Bagh, Brigadier General Reginald Dyer came, and Reginald Dyer was the senior British officer with the responsibility to impose martial law and restore order. Okay, so he was there to impose the martial law and he could also restore the order with his own discretion. But instead of using his brain, what he did, he just decided to end it with the violence. So by then, the city had returned to calm and the protests that were being held were peaceful. People were very peaceful in the Jallianwala Bagh. They had no arms and ammunition with them. They were having a very peaceful protest. And they were, with the general crowd also. General crowd, generally people at the occasion of Baisakhi, they were not aware of any kind of protest going on. So there General Dyer came. He issued a proclamation on 13th April, which was also a Baisakhi day, forbidding people from leaving the city without a pass and from organizing demonstrations or processions or assembling in the groups of more than 3 people. Okay, but many of the people at that time, see, there was no social media, so this proclamation of 13th April was not known to many of the people. On Baisakhi Day, a large crowd of people, mostly from neighboring villages, unaware of the prohibitory orders in the city, they gathered in the Jallianwala Bagh, a popular place for public events, to celebrate the Baisakhi festival. Local leaders had also called for a protest meeting at the venue. So local people got mixed with the general crowd. So it is not clear how many, but 20,000 odd people collected there, and they were political protesters. But the majority were those who had collected for the festival only, for Baisakhi only. Okay. So now these people, they were all there in the Bagh. Meanwhile, the meeting had gone on peacefully. Two resolutions were there. One calling for repeal of Rowlatt Act, that it should be cancelled, and the other was condemning the firing on 10th April, which had been passed. Okay, due to which the massacre happened. Not massacre, but 5 Englishmen got killed. So it was then that Brigadier General Dyer arrived on the scene with his men. The troops surrounded the gathering around and ordered the fire on the unarmed crowd. So they blocked the only exit point and opened fire on the unarmed crowd. So the only exit point was also blocked. So there was no way for these people to be saved. No warning was issued, no instructions, no instruction to disperse was given. There was no chance for these people to go out. An unarmed gathering of men, women, and children was fired upon as they tried to flee. According to official British Indian sources, 379 were identified dead and approximately 1,100 were wounded. However, this number is very, very less. It is not clearly true because, see, British Indian sources means Britishers, and they always used to show things in a very little way, ignorant way. And you know that so many points and datas are hidden in the official data list and official list. They don't really confirm the reality every time, right? We all know this. So the entire nation was stunned, and Rabindranath Tagore renounced his knighthood title in protest. Gandhiji also gave up his title of Kesare Hind. Okay, Kesare Hind, because he participated, because of his participation and leadership in the Boer War, he got this title of Kesare Hind. He also gave up his title bestowed by the British for the work of Gandhiji during his Boer War. Gandhi was overwhelmed by the atmosphere of total violence, and he withdrew the movement on 18th April 1919, the movement which was against the Rowlatt Act. Okay, so you can say that, seen in an objective way, Dyer ensured the beginning of the end of the British Raj. Basically, somehow, a sense of urgency came due to this act of General Dyer, we can say, right? So what had happened in Amritsar made Gandhi declare that cooperation with the satanic regime was now impossible, because he was cooperating with Britishers a lot, but now he stopped all the kinds of cooperation. He realized that the cause of Indian independence from British rule was morally righteous, and morally it would be fine for him to go against Britishers and use harsh measures now. If we talk about Udham Singh, who bore the name Ram Mohammad Singh Azad, later assassinated Michael O'Dwyer, the lieutenant governor who presided over the brutal British suppression of the 1919 protest in Punjab. So Udham Singh was the one, because, see, basically Britishers didn't take any action against the General Dyer. However, they had a committee, but there was no, Hunter Commission was there, but it was of no use. That's why Udham Singh took this step. However, he was captured and hanged in 1940 for his death. His ashes were returned to India in 1974, you know, by Britishers. It was returned to India. So we should always remember the name of Udham Singh also whenever we talk about Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Okay, now if we talk about the Hunter Committee, it was a committee of inquiry. As I discussed with you, that whenever there is a protest or a demand from the general public, and if government sees things, government can have this decision that they can have a committee. Committee will submit the report after taking care of all the points, and on the basis of the report only government can make a law. Government never makes a law directly just after seeing a protest or a demand. It's not possible for the government to see what is right or wrong. So the massacre at Jallianwala Bagh shocked Indians and many British as well. The Secretary of State for India, Edwin Montagu, ordered that a committee of inquiry be formed to investigate the matter. So on 14th October 1919, Government of India announced the formation of Disorder Inquiry Committee. Okay, Disorders Inquiry Committee, which came to be more widely and variously known as Hunter Committee or Commission, after the name of the chairman, Lord William Hunter. He was a former Solicitor General of Scotland and Senator of the College of Justice in Scotland. So he was a very well known person. But understand why it is known as Hunter Committee? Because of the chairman, Lord William Hunter. But for prelims, you should remember that the real name of the committee was Disorders Inquiry Committee. Why it was made? It was there just to investigate the matter of Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Okay, why this massacre happened? क्यों हत्याकांड हुआ जलियांवाला बाग में? क्या हुआ? सही हुआ? गलत हुआ? Just to check this, that was it right? Was the idea of General Dyer was fine at that moment? So they started investigating. However, ultimately they didn't decide anything against General Dyer. They didn't punish General Dyer. They just condemned the things later, but it was not of any use for Indians. So the basically what happened was, there was Hunter Commission, but we, as I told you, that it was of no use. It gave no serious report to punish General Dyer. And look at Indians, how these people in India treated General Dyer. The honoring of Dyer happened by the priest of Sri Darbar Sahib in Amritsar. Okay, it was one of the reasons behind the intensification of the demand for reforming the management of Sikh shrines. If you remember, we discussed about the socio-religious reform movements, in which we discussed about the movement which was there to remove the corrupt mahants, Gurdwara reform movement. So this is a reason for the Gurdwara reform movement. So Sikh shrines already being voiced by the society, such as Khalsa Diwan, Majha and Central Majha Khalsa Diwan. So this resulted in the launch of a very popular Gurdwara reform movement, where they wanted to remove the corrupt mahants who got backing from the Britishers and utilize the misuse the resources basically of instead of managing Gurdwara well, they used to misuse the Gurdwara resources. When this Jallianwala Bagh massacre happened, Congress was stunned. The Indian National Congress, they appointed its own non-official committee that included Motilal Nehru, C.R. Das, Abbas Tayyab ji, M.R. Jayakar and Gandhi ji. The Congress put forward its own view. They criticized the Dyer's Act as inhuman and also said that there was no justification in the introduction of martial law in Punjab. There was no justification to what he did. Okay, so Congress also wanted to go against this thing, and they also wanted to raise their voice, which they raised. Fine. So we have completed everything about the entire struggle of Gandhiji, Rowlatt Act, General Dyer, and everything. Fine. Now the next topic is when we will see the mass movement coming in the real practice. Okay. So Gandhiji, the lecture about Gandhiji is completely done. In the last class, if you have missed anything, I just want you to check the recording, because in the recording you'll get the this lecture of making of Gandhi, because yesterday we had some technical issue, so we didn't continue things on live. So that's why we just recorded it and later uploaded it. You can just check the recording, and there you will get some uh, ideas with the lecture of early making of Gandhiji. So in case you want to go through it, please check the recorded lecture playlist. Okay, in the playlist you will get it. Fine. Now I'll come to your doubts one by one. There is one doubt by Neha. Ma'am, was Gandhi able to provide remission? Yes, of course he was. Remission was provided in the Kheda. And Sudeep Swami, you are asking for economic lecture. Sure, I'll ask the team to arrange it. Economy videos for prelims also, we will arrange them. Surely we will do. You can tell me if there is any other demand or any other thing which you want. What kind of economy lectures you want specifically, you can mention in the comments that if you want a lecture, then what kind of lecture. And is there any book summary which you need? Is there any PYQ summary, or do you want a strategy video, or do you want a detailed lecture series? Whatever you want, you can tell me in the comments, and the team will read the comments for you, and they can work on it. Now, if you have any other doubts from the modern history, please let me know, because today's session is done. We have completed everything about Gandhiji. We have completed the discussion about the Rowlatt Act. Okay, so I'll come to your doubts now. You have 1 minute. You can take your time, and then you can ask your doubts. I'm here only. I'm waiting for your questions. And guys, what I'm planning is that for Friday, Saturday and Sunday, we won't be having any classes on this particular modern history series, because we are just waiting for you to complete all the previous lectures. So tomorrow there is a leave. Saturday, Sunday we will not have any class. So please try to revise whatever we have covered till now. We'll continue the lecture series from Monday. Okay. Okay. Detailed economy series, no? Fine, Sudeep. I'll tell the team to start a detailed economy series. Yes, next class is going to be on Monday. Neha, you have a question about the Surat split. See, I'll just explain this to you. Surat split. Basically, Surat split happened in 1907. Understand this. What is split? See, the Surat, because the place where the Congress meeting held was in Surat, and split is the breaking of Congress leaders, members in two parts. It happened in 1907. So the problem was that from 1885 to 1905, Congress had a moderate phase in which they only used to do prayer, petition, and plead. But after 1905 onwards, we saw a extremist phase in which many leaders started going extra constitutional to protest against the Britishers. Okay, I hope you remember this, which we have covered. Now, the problem happened after that, 1905 partition of Bengal. Congress wanted to launch the Swadeshi movement. So, when they wanted to launch the Swadeshi movement, there was a problem that Congress was still dominated by the moderate leaders. The moderate leaders said that we should follow the Swadeshi movement in the Bengal area only, and we should not involve the masses. But extremist leaders wanted to go beyond Bengali region. They wanted to include the entire India in it, and they also wanted to involve the masses in the Swadeshi movement. So, on this particular matter only, on the way of leading the Swadeshi movement and how they will proceed further, this split happened because they both became very rigid. Moderates, they didn't want to go outside the Bengal, they didn't want masses to come, and extremist leaders like Lal Bal Pal, they wanted masses to be included, and they wanted to go at a all India level, and that's why the split happened. So this is Surat split. Clear? I hope your doubt is clear. Yes, Vinay, you have a question by the name of you extremist and moderate leaders. See, three most important leaders. If we talk about extremist, Lal, Bal, Pal, right? And Aurobindo Ghosh also. Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, right? And Bipin Chandra Pal, Aurobindo Ghosh. These all were extremist leaders. But if we talk about moderate leaders who always dominated Congress in the initial phase and later also during the Home Rule League time also, so W.C. Banerjee, R.C. Datta, Umesh Chandra, all those leaders, they were moderates. Even Motilal Nehru also, initially he was a moderate leader. Fine. I hope your doubt is clear. Class time is always same, 8 to 10 p.m. It is always fixed, 8 to 10 p.m. daily. You guys need to share the session. You should share it, like it, and in case you have any other doubts, we'll meet again on Monday, as I need to complete course of world history. So if you want to catch my lectures for the world history, you can uh, get it in the Sunya IAS platform, and you can just visit the website, and all the links are there in the description box. So I have some batches, and due to a tight schedule, I won't be able to take classes for 2-3 days. But on Monday, I'll be back with you, and then we'll continue this series. Till then, you just revise everything, and if you have any doubts, you can let me know in the comment box. Okay, thank you so much, guys. See you then. Take care. Bye bye.